Marikina. Norris from Marikina asks, Mr. D, do you expect decline in economic activity with Malaysia and China due to current situation? Self-explanatory.
Actual records shows that our trade with China in fact grew.
Grew.
Yes. So, of course, at the beginning, there was some problem with some of our produce, bananas, but right now, it has recovered and it's in fact continuing to grow.
So hindi big deal yung meron mga nagpo-post na mga no Japanese, Vietnamese, Filipinos and dogs allowed sa kanilang mga restaurant.
Natawa ako eh. That will make people even more curious and then they will start looking at what's happening in the Philippines. That's even better for us.
So that parang sa showbiz, no, any kind of publicity is always good.
Hindi naman, yung kanya kasi, well, una-una masama yung dating niya eh dahil Vietnamese, Japanese, Filipino and dogs, So who lost in that kind of how do you call it? Publicity
offensive.
So, sila talagang maano ron. But still,
so that's bad marketing for him.
But still, you go to our tourist spots, a lot of Chinese still coming here. We have something to offer. You cannot stop that. That is a reality.
Basta meron ng disposable income yung tao. You can't stop them. Iba na. Okay, Bernard from Quezon City is asking you, Sir, is it still safe to travel work in KL? KL siguro Kuala Lumpur. So is it still safe to travel or work in KL?
I have a daughter in KL, married to a Malaysian. And I've been talking to them, to her, and there's nothing going on there except what you see in the newspaper. They're not bothered. They know that this is just we will always have that problem because that claim has always been there. And in fact, a lot of Malaysians think that, the Sultan really owns the place.
And I think the Malaysian government pays him $1 million every year. So that's an admission that it's a lease agreement. No?
They may not like in fact, a lot of them say, but these people came here not to fight. They came here to go to a place that they're saying is theirs. Diba? Because if they were to go there.
That apparently is not disputed. Anyway, Kota Kinabalu, I think, is closer to Manila than it is to Kuala Lumpur.
And the people in Malaysia have the same call as our president. That, hey, let's continue the talk. Let's go to the table. That's all.
Anyway, I think it's going to be hard to pick out a Filipino or a Malaysian in the streets of Kuala Lumpur because they look so much alike. I mean, at least a lot of them.
More so in Sabah. A lot of them don't know if they're Malaysians or Filipino.
Okay.
They themselves don't know.
I was a reporter for the longest time, and I used to cover that thing in the south. No, I've been to Tawi-Tawi, Bonggao, yung Basilan, and a lot of the products that we buy there, yung consumer goods that we use, no, yung what we eat, are actually from Sabah, or at least from Malaysia. So talaga malapit kasi it's just it's a narrow stretch of water essentially. So
that's kind of ASEAN has changed our mentality. If you go around the region, we're mixing up there. Iba na eh. I don't feel I'm traveling abroad when I go to ASEAN.
It's an extension, no?
It's an extension. Yeah.
Okay. Someone named Phil, who has no address. Sabah is oil rich. Pinoy should think what is good for Philippines, not Malaysia. That's not a question. That's a comment.
And that's wrong. That comment is wrong in the sense that the president and nobody in Philippines is thinking more as Malaysians or in support of Malaysia. In fact, the reason why we're saying don't fight, don't create problem is because we want to have a closer relationship with the Malaysians in order to move the economy, in order to protect our Filipino people.
You don't think they stick their noses too much in the peace talks between the separatists, Moro separatists?
I think that was a service. They're not doing this just for the Philippines, by the way. They have offered the same service to the Thais.
For problems
there.
And
I think it's good. I think it's good that they're doing it because then they're committed to peace. They're committed to solving the problem peacefully.
Okay. Questions for Joey. This one is from Dena, from Makati, what low-impact sports do you recommend for couple siguro to in their 50s? Well, wala pa tayo doon. Pero what low-impact sports for a couple in their 50s?
For couples, for elderly couples, they say surfing is okay, honest, because especially surfing, when you're surfing, you don't really have to pick out really big waves. Waves that just roll in.
So low impact yung surfing, wag ka lang tumama dun sa corals.
No, in areas naman that have good surf lessons. These are areas like Bagasbas Beach or La Union. These are sand bottom beaches. And they have all the the works there, the gear. They have big boards and they're foam padded. So
and the ambulance. Okay, Jesse and Ann from Baguio City are asking, is it too late to join mountain event? Siguro yung sa Ilocos. Is this a mountain event?
Probably mountain
Safe
event.
ba?
Too late meaning in their age, in their years, or at this time of the year?
Baka if it's too late to sign up.
No. Mountain events, not just the one in Narvacan. In fact, if they're from Baguio, one of the most beautiful mountains that you can climb, which are accessible to tourists now, is Mount Pulag in Benguet. Kasi when you climb that's the highest peak of Luzon.
Okay. Very briefly, I guess the Silver Surfer from QC. I would venture a guess if this is not his real name, his or her Silver Surfer from QC. Baka kilala mo. What are you doing to help make surfing a formal sport? Is it not a formal sport?
Actually, there was a move in surfing long ago to connect all the surfing competitions.
Wala pa yun sa Olympics, no? Or sa
it's
SEA
in the
Games.
beach games.
There's an international surfing event in Boracay in next month.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk business. There are questions regarding power up. No, you have a
I have a climbing
sort of
gym.
A training facility where you can practice.
Yes. That's another. If it's outdoor sports, I guess that's where that's my forte. We opened one in ROX. This is in Bonifacio High Street, and I think you were there.
Yes.
You had a good climbing session there, Miguel. No? And it's actually a good place where you can get an intro to climbing, and then in a few weeks we'll be opening actually rappelling. So if you or your kids want to experience, it's called life in the vertical. You're going up, you're going down, experiencing getting out of your comfort zone. A lot of companies actually doing it to get their employees to just be a bit more assertive and a bit more pushing the limit.
Okay, before we wrap up, I'll get Ambassador Dee's view. In view of all the regional tensions, that some say could affect the flow of goods, we have products like Joey's products here that are 100% Filipino made. What are your comments regarding these things? No? They're relatively simple products pa lang, no? Pero is there such a move na less imports and let's make everything here? Is that catching on?
I guess no, there is none, because the mindset now is the whole world is one market. So you have all these free trade agreements that are being negotiated. The emphasis now of government is trying to make entry easier, in fact, for goods, and also trying to make our cost elements such as power, utility competitive. So that's where we're going. But I'd like to say that there's there's success stories like Bench, like in apparel, especially children's apparel, Ginger Snap. They're all over Asia now, and they're doing very well. So you have to. I was just saying when I saw this, look regional. Also, it's very expensive to promote a brand, to build a brand. But if you do if you concentrate your whole presentation sa point of sale, I think you'll get more mileage.
Joey, tell us something about your new product.
Yeah, well,
Maybe a good opportunity to show the public what the Filipino can do.
yeah, we're actually experimenting a lot on.
This is local rubber, no? Local sap.
Yeah. Well, all of our products, we have tried to stay away from importing rubber from Vietnam or from Thailand, or all of our rubber comes from Mindanao. So at least when it comes to knowing when you buy the product, you're actually benefiting a farmer from
Maybe
Bukidnon.
you can show our viewers what
Yeah.
it looks like.
So when you buy
what
this
Philippine rubber looks like.
when you buy this rubber, you can actually be assured that what you're buying contributes to the economy of the local farmers in Bukidnon.
Yes.
And then we started experimenting on weaves from Bicol. We're trying to rebrand that that Filipino fashion doesn't have to be a handicraft. It can be cool. It can be
Modern.
It can be modern.
Sporty.
Yes. So this is Lupis from Bicol. This is Tinalak from Davao.
So a long way from the weaved stuff lang, no? Yung parang banig-banig.
Parang baniga. So it's just a matter of creativity, infusing it with modern materials
And a
modern,
fashionable look.
and fashionable.
And on that note, I'll give the floor to you, Ambassador Dee, your insights regarding all these regional tensions and what you would like to see, how you would like to see both government and private sector handle these things.
The regional tension because of territory and boundaries has been there for
Decades.
decades. And the way to handle this is the way we have done it, bring it to the international courts and have it adjudicated there. A third-party adjudication is the only way it will work. Having said that, let's just focus on improving the lives of our people. Let's improve the economic condition, create the jobs, create the various activities that will bring us closer to each other.
Despite the apparently lackluster interest in the elections?
Well, but the economy is moving, election or no election, and that's a good sign. It shows that we know the government now, being government service is really to provide the basic necessities. But other than that, the private sector must move and move the economy by.
So gusto ng private sector medyo hindi masyadong pakikialam over monitoring, over regulation.
Ang monitoring dapat ng private sector is when they look at the candidates, ano ang programa ano ang commitment ng candidate, ano ang programa niya, what is he offering.
Okay. And we hope today's show gave you some useful and potentially life-changing ideas. In the internet, our website is www.practicalbusiness.tv.